Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cards of Diecast 4 channel. I want to thank you all for watching, and in this video it is now time to showcase the set of all sets, if you will, in the NASCAR world. Not with every release, but with various releases, particularly with Prizm. You'll find many people who want to collect the complete gold set, whether it be just the base or whether it be an autograph, or some who are even more ambitious, they try to go for the whole deal, autographs and everything. Well, I'm not that intense, but at the same time though, I have a very special set to showcase to you all here. This here is the complete 2017 Panini Select Endorsement Gold Prizm collection. All 29 autographs are included here, and the special thing about this set here is that usually the gold when it comes to Prizm or Select, the golds are usually numbered to about 10. Well, in this instance, because of one particular driver, which we will showcase at the very end, this set here is one of only two possible complete sets that could have ever been made, and this here is one of them. And just to give you guys a heads up as well, both sets have since been completed. I was able to snipe my set first, and literally within several days the second guy was able to complete his set as well. So very happy to be able to present this set to you all in its entirety. Every card here is graded, so maybe this will make my set just that little bit more special, but there are a couple disappointments when it comes to the grades, and we'll elaborate on those and the reasons why when we get to those particular cards. But with that said though, ladies and gentlemen, you guys just sit back, relax, and enjoy the showcase of the 2017 Panini Select Endorsement Gold Prizm set. Alrighty then, so like the rest of the videos, Adam Stevens will be our pole sitter for this video. He is the crew chief for Kyle Busch. Now, with that said, I have elected to have SGC, which is one of the big three graders, and PSA number 1, Beckett usually would be considered number 2, and SGC number 3, depending on who you talk to. But SGC is certainly a legitimate grader in my opinion. But due to turnaround and just plain old cost, I've elected to have all of the crew chief and the announcer cards be graded via SGC, and PSA will then pick up the tab when it comes to all the various drivers. So let's go ahead and showcase these cards here. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the camera's not going to be able to do justice when you look at these cards. Absolutely fantastic. I got multiple lights here trying to showcase from all the various angles just how quite a good, such a good job for Panini in the way they created these cards here. I absolutely will give them credit when they deserve it. It has a 10 for the autograph. SGC will give you a 10 if they consider the autograph to be gem mint, but it did get a 9 with the actual card grade itself, which is indicative of the quality control. Unfortunately, I just gave them praise for Panini. Now let's criticize them. The quality control with some of these endorsement hits, especially some of the prime hit drivers that we'll showcase later, was absolutely terrible. But again, Adam Stevens will be our pole sitter, and the standard print run will be out of 10 for the majority of the drivers. However, we will have a couple short printed ones, and that will do it for Mr. Adam Stevens. The next driver, or rather the next crew chief that will be up, will be for Chase Elliott's crew chief, and this one here is Alan Gustafson. And again, we have a 10 for the autograph, even though that's kind of a weak autograph to be quite honest, but it is what it is. 10 for the autograph, but again, kind of a bad quality control, only an 8.5 for the actual card grade itself. But again, just look at that gold finish. Everything looks better in gold. And let's just do a little bit of all the various angles. Of course, I'm getting a lot of the light as well. I do have sleeves here, if you're wondering. These sleeves that I have covering the SGC. The SGC sleeves don't necessarily give you the best fit because they're kind of a one-size-fits-all, but I know with the PSA slabs, when we showcase them, those are fitted. I get them from Superior Fit Sleeves. So if you want to get the same sleeves that I'm using here, assuming of course China hasn't cut off our supply yet, I'll leave a link in the description to that website so you can get the kind of sleeves that you need. They're excellent. I use them for all my eBay sales, and I use them for every single one of my PSA, Beckett, and SGC slabs. So again, Chase Elliott's Crew Chief Alan Gustafson. Print run standard is going to be out of 10. This one here is 3 of 10, and that'll do for Mr. Allen. We're going to switch gears now to Mr. Billy Scott, who was at the time the crew chief for Miss Danica Patrick, and this is our first 10 in 10 autograph. As you can see there, 10 for the auto, 10 for the actual condition of the card itself. So excellent hit right there. Again, I will leave a link in the description below for the Flickr album. So if you want to see still images of all these cards, you absolutely can do that. Just check out my Flickr. This one here is 5 of 10. And I guess a side or backstory to this is that I actually broke this card pack fresh, sold it on eBay, and then when I got that William Byron hit, I had to start buying all the gold Prism endorsements that I sold off, and I ended up having to pay a little bit more than I sold this actual card for. So then let's go now to Dale Inman. Dale Inman, who was the crew chief, I believe, for Richard Petty for all those years. And again, just take a look at that fantastic finish. Trying to get a good idea from all the various angles here. And again, this is a 10 for the grade, 8.5 on the actual card itself. 10 with the autograph, I should say. Good autograph, though, as you could tell. Must run in the family there to have good autographs, as we will see later on with Richard Petty. This one here is a standard print as well, 6 of 10. Then we have our one announcer, going back to Mr. Dick Berggren. This one here has a little bit better of a grade, 10 on the autograph, and then we have a 9.5 for the actual condition of the card. Long-time announcer, was working with Fox by the time he retired a couple years ago, and had Speedway Illustrated, I believe that was his magazine. Of course, magazines have gone out the way, but again, standard print run, 8 of 10. Here we go now to Paul Wolf, the crew chief for Brad Keselowski. This is a card I sometimes have always considered of maybe trying to get signed by Brad Keselowski, because his name does not appear in the endorsements line. He is actually with the Signature Paint Schemes if you want just an autograph only from Select. And with that said, he always signs with a sticker. But of course, I'm sure if you was to get him at an autograph signing, which I don't know as of this point, those things might be, you know, something in the past as of right now because of all that's going on health-wise. But 10 for the autograph, 9.5 on the card. Again, I think this was also another card. Standard print, 7 of 10, but I think this is another card that I sold and then had to buy back once I got that secured the William Byron for this set. Rodney Childers, this is Kevin Harvick's crew chief. Got a 10 for the autograph, 9 for the actual condition of the card itself. Again, just love these gold Prism autographs here, fantastic. Flip the card around, standard print again. This one here is 9 of 10. Slugger Labby, who the last time I heard anything of him, he was the crew chief for Austin Dillon. Before that, he was working with Michael Waltrip for a while in his Napa when he was working with DEI. Again, this one here is a good 10 and 10. 10 for the autograph, gem mint, 10 for the actual condition of the card itself. Flip the card around, and that will do it. This is 4 of 10 for Mr. Slugger Labby. And then finally, our last crew chief will be for Mike Bugaravich, although when you look at the name, it kind of looks like it should be like Mike Bugarwitz, but it is Mike Bugaravich. This is 10 for the autograph and then 9.5 for the actual grade of the card. Again, this was also another card that I had to buy back after having sold it on eBay once I got the William Byron. This one here is a standard print, 5 of 10, and that will do it for our crew chiefs and announcers. So now with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive right into the actual PSA slabs and the actual drivers themselves, and leave it in the comments what you guys think. Did the cards look better in a SGC slab, or did they look better in a PSA slab? But here we go. This is for Herschel McGriff, a driver who actually, I believe, drove late into his 80s, I believe, in the lower tier series, and actually had a little bit of results, I believe. But there you go for longtime driver Herschel McGriff. It got a mint 9 on the card grade itself. This was actually one of the cards that was stuck in California during the pandemic when it first came out, because this video would have been out about 2 months earlier had it not been for that situation. But here we go for Herschel McGriff. Glad to have it back, and glad to finally be able to get this video here going. With that said, though, we're not going to be following the checklist when it comes to the drivers because of this, considering how special it is. I'm kind of showcasing the cards based on like public, I won't say desire, but rather just public star power, really. And also at the same time based on print run. So this is why we're going next to Ned Jarrett. Ned Jarrett with the mint 9 on the card itself. PSA does not grade the actual autograph unless you pay them to do so. So I guess in a way, and also with SGC, if it's not a Gem Mint 10 autograph, they will not put a grade number for the actual autograph, because that actually kind of dilutes it, if you will. But they always will put 10s. But as for PSA, they don't grade the autograph unless you pay them. Again, mint 9 on the actual grade for the card. Flip it around. This too will be a standard print. The Herschel McGriff was also a standard print, both out of 10. This one was 5 of 10. Harry Gant, who was easily the highest printed driver in both the blue and the red prisms, will actually come back down to earth. We have ourselves our first Gem Mint 10 grade, so we have the best grade possible from PSA. Excellent autograph right there, legible, unlike a lot of autographs you see from people nowadays. And when we actually flip the card around, he returns back to earth with the standard print run of 10. This one here is 5 of 10. Again, if you want to see these cards, either pause the video or check out the Flickr album to see these cards in still images. Casey Mears, who, of course, I don't know the actual true number, but was sky high in the base endorsements, but then was short printed in both blue and red, returns to standard print numbers. Again, trying to get the light to, you know, just give you all the various angles of this card here. This card here got a mint 9. And, well, what else can you say? I mean, everything looks good in gold. I mean, I hated seeing the base edition, but when I see the gold parallel right here, I'm glad to absolutely have it. So this one here is a standard print, 8 of 10 for Casey Mears. Then we're going to move on now to the mint 9 card of Daniel Suarez, who at the time was driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. No longer is doing that. He's driving for a struggling team right now, and he's trying to reestablish himself as a driver in the Cup Series. Having a little bit difficulty. I know he didn't qualify for the 2020 Daytona 500, but I'm sure, if there's anybody who's going to be able to have a that breakout race, perhaps it's going to be Mr. Daniel Suarez here. Mint 9 on the card. Great looking in the PSA slabs right there, and this is going to be a standard print, 9 of 10 for this particular card right here. Moving on now to Mr. Cale Yarborough. Again, we noticed when we saw his base endorsements that he had both the front and the back signed, but also, as I said, I have never seen a numbered card have an autograph on the back here. I would have loved to have been able to have one here signed both back and front with the gold or even the checkered flag, but we don't seem to have that. Mint 9 on the card, and again, these cards just look fantastic. Trying to play with the lights here. I don't have a professional setup. I know you kind of see the reflection here again. It is because mainly we have that sleeve that's covering, and as I said, this perfect fit is completely covering, form-fitting with the actual PSA slab. So again, check out the link in the description if you want those fitted sleeves that perfectly fit your graded cards. Dale Jarrett comes in at a perfect Gem Mint 10 grade, the Daytona 500 winner. This is a Gem Mint 10 copy, as I said, so this is a perfect deal. Never really been too much of a Dale Jarrett fan, but to be able to have a gold autograph and especially have it coming back at the Gem Mint 10, I will take it. This is the first in print, 1 of 10 for Dale Jarrett. Now here's our first kind of disappointed grade. This is only a near mint 8. Again, I'm not sure. Now in this instance, I'm not sure exactly why they did that, unless No, there must be some sort of surface deal. Now with these select cards, I do notice that it's very easy for them to have very fine scratches on it. So if you ever do end up wanting to send in a card to get graded, you want to make sure that once it's packed fresh, you immediately put it into what's called a card saver, and then your penny sleeve, and then into the card saver, and then you want to immediately ship it out, because the more handling of it, where you're actually touching it, the more of those faint scratches could get on it. And if you're concerned about getting the best grade possible, you could actually ruin it with all those fine scratches. This is a standard print again, 7 of 10 for Bill Elliott. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. And here's a good opportunity for us to finally have 4 different parallels with 4 different autographs. Now you would think, oh, well, he has himself just a standard autograph, Darrell Waltrip, but if you remember with our base, his autograph had Darrell Lee Waltrip, and then I believe with the blue he had the 11 for when he was driving the 11 car at the time, and then with the red he had the smiley face, I believe, and now we have just a regular autograph. So 4 different parallels, 4 different types of autographs. Thank you very much, Mr. Darrell Waltrip. In fact, I just realized that as we was making this video series. Gem Mint 10, so we got a perfect card as well for this gold prism autograph. Standard print run of 10. This one here is 4 of 10 for Jaws himself, Darrell Waltrip. Mint 9 card now for Mr. Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace, who for quite a while in his career was driving the black and gold Miller Genuine Draft. We see him driving with that uniform right there. It was a Pontiac in probably his better days in the early 90s, then switched to Ford, I believe, in 94. Was always a threat to win, but he lost his ability through just bad consistency to be a title contender anymore. I think 98 he started the year strong with 5 consecutive top 5s, but then eventually faltered out through the year, and then of course Jeff Gordon just kicked everybody's ass in 98. But here is a Mint 9 copy of Rusty Wallace's gold endorsement autograph. Excellent hit right here, standard print. This one here is 7 of 10 for Rusty Wallace. And here's a big disappointment. I know a lot of people like collecting Matt Kenseth autographs, and unfortunately in this instance we are going to have a near mint 7, and this is the one right here. I don't think I understand why they gave it the grade that it did, but unfortunately PSA did so. Again, a lot of faint scratches. It could be trying to flip it around, and well, no, actually no, you can kind of see it right here. I'm going to try to zoom in. Maybe you might not be able to see it too well, but right here, right above the checklist, for some reason PSA, or rather Panini, did not allow that clear film on the top surface of the card to heal, or to cure rather, and so when they cut the card, it caused some of the peeling to go back, or the film to peel out and kind of go back, and therefore it would dry up like that. And unfortunately this is not going to be the only card that features this damage. So again, near mint 7 on Matt Kenseth, but it is a standard print. This one here though is the first in print, 1 of 10. Here we go now with Mark Martin, kind of signed over here to the side here. I actually made a deal with the person who eventually had the other complete set in order to secure this card here. I think I had to trade a out of 5 Danica Patrick White Prism autograph from 2018 Prism. I think it was a scripted signatures. Very glad, more than willing to actually complete that in order to secure this card here. Very happy. I actually had to cancel an eBay sale. I was actually selling it on eBay, and I actually did a no-no. I actually canceled the listing early though, but I think only one person had bid on the card at the time. So if you're that person, I do apologize. But hey, I had to do what I had to do in order to secure this card here. For Mark Martin, always the bridesmaid, but not here in this collection. He is absolutely main event. Mint 9 on the card itself. Flip the card around. Excellent hit here. This is going to be 2 out of 10 standard print run. Next card here is going to be for Danica Patrick, and I want to bring your attention to just the color pop when it comes to these PSA slabs and how they don't normally include a Mylar, and even when they do, it's much clearer than with Beckett's. So for example, we're going to go ahead and show you right over here a example of a Beckett PSA 9, which is actually this very card. But when you look at that card and then compare it to the PSA slab that it's in now, you will notice just how dull that PSA, or that rather that Beckett slab is, because of the Mylar that is included with that actual slab there. Now, it may provide better protection, and for those of you who grade cards, in the end that might be more of a priority. For me, I demand to see color pop, and as you can see here with the PSA slab not having that Mylar, you could see the color pop of the gold prism just popping out at you, and this is the reason why I switched it from a Beckett to now a PSA slab. Very glad to have it, very glad to keep it. Now, this card here is a Mint 9. Unfortunately, did not get the Gem Mint 10. Would have loved to have been able to secure a Gem Mint 10, as I do own the complete set for Danica from coast to coast, base, blue, red, gold, obviously, and the checkered flag for this autograph. But it is what it is. 4 of 10, standard print for Miss Danica Patrick. Kevin Harvick here, coming in with a nice Gem Mint 10 copy of his autograph. Excellent hit here, excellent driver. Although surprisingly is not very good when it comes to selling this card here. You would think it would go for a lot more money, but it actually doesn't. But still, regardless, this is a Gem Mint 10 copy. Very happy to secure this card here for a championship contender in Kevin Harvick. Again, Gem Mint 10 copy, can't get any better than that. This is a standard print, 5 of 10 for Happy Harvick. And here we go now with the next driver, and it's going to be for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And just look at that finish, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent autograph right there. Look at that from all angles. Let's get all that prismatic finish. And as you can see right there, Gem Mint 10 grade. Very happy to have this card here. He does come with that verification sticker. I think for a time he actually didn't have the verification sticker, I think with 2020 Donruss, or it may have been a release from last year, but then he started to get back into doing that. So those verification stickers have returned, though, or authentication stickers, however you want to look at it. This one here is 5 of 10. And then I guess as a bonus in a way is that we have another Dale Earnhardt Jr. But did you guys catch the difference? Quickly, we'll showcase the first card again, and then take a look at this card right here. Did you guys catch the difference? It's in the label right here. Panini, or PSA rather, in their infinite brilliance, decided to consolidate racing into the miscellaneous section a couple years ago. But when they did that, they also consolidated soccer with racing, with bowling. And the thing is, though, in 2017, soccer also had a select release, and they also had an endorsement line within that select release. And so for a while, when you would look at the population report, you'd see Danica Patrick's 1 of 1 autograph mixed in with all the other endorsements from the soccer players. So you would see like Cristiano Ronaldo or whatever, and then the next listing would be for Danica Patrick. So for a while, they looked like they was going to actually put the racing to kind of separate the two, but they only decided to do it with 2 drivers. And 9 of 10 for this card here, and the other one is 5 of 10 for the 2 Dale Jr. gold endorsements. So here we go now. This is going to be for Gem Mint 10 Richard Petty. This will be the last driver who has the standard print run of 10. And what can you say? The best autograph in sports. Look at that. Very legible, very neat. I can almost say almost feminine in a way, just how neat that autograph is. But I think sometimes when you have autographs that are like that, unless you're practicing a lot, sometimes that might be a little genetic in a way. You're having good handwriting. But this one here is 3 of 10. I am looking for the Gem Mint 10, or rather not the Gem Mint 10 necessarily, but the checker flag 1 of 1. Even if you don't want to sell it, I'd love to be able to at least see an image of it and add it to my 1 of 1 verification album. If you have the 1 of 1, even if you don't want to sell it, if you want to sell it, absolutely, you can send me an offer. But at least send me a photo of it so I could at least add it to that album and know that at least it's been pulled. Gem Mint 10 copy for the King, Richard Petty. Again, would love to have the checkered flag, but regardless, glad to have the gold in Gem Mint 10 form. So that will do it for our standard print run drivers. We now have, let's see, we have 4 drivers left, plus 1 bonus autograph that we're going to showcase. But right now, let's go ahead and go to the actual short printed drivers. And our first one will be for Bobby Labonte. If you remember, I'm still not sure exactly why they did that, but they did short print Mr. Labonte quite a bit throughout this autograph line. Of course, the bases, I'm sure the bases are even short printed, to be honest, but when it comes to the blue, remember it was out of 18, and then with the red it was out of 10. And so now when we flip the card around for the Bobby Labonte gold endorsements, you will see that it's numbered only to 5. This one here is 5 of 5. I pulled this card pack fresh and was considering selling it, but I decided to actually keep it, and I'm glad that I did, and I'm also glad that I sent it off to get graded by PSA. Gem Mint 10 copy, can't get any better than that. Excellent hit for the 2000 champion Bobby Labonte. And then here is the hardest autograph and the last autograph that I needed in order to secure this entire line, and it is for Texas Terry Labonte. If you remember, his blue autograph was actually elevated to 75 versus 50 for the majority of the drivers, and then when it came to the red, he came back down to being normal. But here with the gold, probably because he was driving the number 5 car for all those years, we have 3 of 5 right there for Terry Labonte. This was the last autograph I needed, and I actually was able to pull this from a break. It's probably the only card that I've ever pulled from a break that was the last card that I needed to complete a parallel set. Very, very happy to have this card. Texas Terry, short print, only out of 5. What else can I say? Excellent hit right there. And now this is the most disappointing grade out of them all. It's going to be for Mr. Jimmie Johnson. Not only is it a disappointment because of the grade of an excellent to mint 6, it's also a disappointment because Jimmie Johnson was so short printed. Remember that he was not even included in the base or blue parallels of the endorsement line. And then when he went to the red, he was numbered only to 7. We were lucky to get a Gem Mint 10 for that copy, but with this copy here, obviously it did not work. This one here also is short printed to 5. 5 of 5. Pulled this card pack fresh, but much like when we was talking about the Matt Kenseth, right here just above the checklist, you will see it's a little bit hard to see from the camera perhaps, but if you had it right in front of you, and this here was like almost like stone. When you would try to kind of push this thing in, it was like stone. They just didn't allow enough time for that clear film to cure, and so when they cut it, it seems like there's some sort of jagged edge on that cutter, and it caused the film to kind of curl back up and harden, and that's why you have it right there. And unfortunately, that really killed the grade with this extremely rare Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie Johnson was also the driver that other collector of the entire set needed, and he was able to pull it from the same breaker as well. So that same breaker, although they're a little bit slow, they ended up pulling the missing parallel, or rather the missing driver for the set for both of us in the same week. Pulled mine first, and then he pulled this second. Jimmie Johnson, unfortunately, got the near mint 6 on that grade. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, or actually no, not finally, we still got one more card to showcase, and it's going to be a bonus hit, but I'm going to go ahead and showcase it now. It's going to be for the signature paint schemes in Ty Dillon, Gem Mint 10 grade. I actually bought this, or rather broke this card myself, sent it to PSA, then sold it, and then when it came back available, I decided, hey, let's go ahead and secure it. Glad that I did. And the reason why I'm showcasing it to you guys is because this card here got the 2 of 3 print run. So Mr. Ty Dillon was quite short printed, and the only reason why I could think about it is because this was before Hailie Deegan, and Panini must have considered this to be kind of like a hot rookie prospect. But for Ty Dillon, he really hasn't accumulated much success, but as of this video, he is still driving that 13 card. But this is the bonus hit I wanted to showcase to you all to kind of emphasize maybe Panini's logic into making this decision, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, I know several of you people have been wanting to see this card for some time, and so let's go ahead and showcase it to you all right now. And it is going to be for William Byron. The story with this card here is that this card was sold sometime in the middle of the night. I'm not sure exactly what the date was, but I think it was sold by a card shop who may not have understood what they had. Sold it for only 125 bucks, and a person bought it, you know, probably within minutes. And once they secured that card, they immediately took this card right back to eBay and jacked it up to $1,500. From $125 to $1,500. And boy, did they play hardball. They certainly did. And after multiple weeks of negotiations and probably paying a little bit too much for this card, considering how I have the 1 of 1, and at least at the time I wouldn't have sold it off at that price. Probably spent a little bit more money, but in the end, I'm glad that I secured this card here. So let's go ahead and move it a little bit down, see what grade it got. And it got the Gem Mint 10 grade. So I'm very happy for that. Believe me, I'm so happy at least that it got the Gem Mint 10 grade. Again, for William Byron, we've been noticing throughout this video series that his hits in the endorsement line and also in the select line, the 2 autograph only cards that featured William Byron, were all ultra short printed, and this here is no different. When we flip the card around, it got the Gem Mint 10 grade, but it only got the out of 2 print run. This is the first in print sister card of the 1 of 1, which I also have. I'll showcase this card along with its sister cards in a different video. But this is the 1 of 2 William Byron, and this is why this entire set is numbered, or rather there's only 2 possible complete sets. And as I stated before, both sets are now down and complete, at least as of this video. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Click the link in the description below if you want to see the Flickr album for this. Again, we're looking for 1 of 1 select endorsement and all select racing 1 of 1 hits in the checker flag design to add to that album, to try to have as many cards as we could verify. And I'd love to be able to get as many endorsement autograph verifications as well. Send those images in. Email me at cardstodiecast4@gmail.com. Anonymously email me because sometimes when you go on Facebook or Twitter and you say, hey, I got an image of this checker flag hit here, 1 of 1, people then start harassing you because they want to send you offers to buy it, and I can understand people not wanting to deal with that. So please feel free to actually send me images via email to keep your privacy. With that said, though, again, ladies and gentlemen, glad that I was able to showcase this video to you all. And with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the checkered flag video of this series and close it all out. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe.